Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mr. Carnage, and today we're going to talk about something I'm passionate about, which is computer components. Been building computers since the early 90s. Actually, one of my first computers I ever built was a 386, and at that young of an age, kind of how understanding how components work, things like that, building a computer was, I think, probably my first passion, my first hobby ever. So, something close to my heart, something I've definitely been a part of my whole life. And it's a sad state of affairs the way things have transpired over the last, 10 years or so. So today we're going to kind of be talking about, which I'm sure all of you are with me on this and know exactly what I'm talking about, the shortage of GPUs. And a lot of other channels definitely touch base on it. Some of them have sponsors, and I'm not saying they're a mouthpiece or told what to say. I don't think that's the case. I just think that they have to have more tact when they're talking about the subject than somebody like myself, who I have absolutely no loyalty to any company whatsoever, and I am not sponsored by anybody, so I could kind of give the full spectrum. So, I'm sure you've heard by now, shortage of semiconductors, mixed with the pandemic, mixed with the supply and demand, because people are at home and they ain't got nothing to do, so everybody decided that the last year and a half was the best time, to start learning how to build a computer, whatever. You want to stick that tack on and say that that's the issue. It's broader than that, obviously. But there's some behind the scenes things that are going on that I don't think people are really understanding. And that's being like, so 6 months ago, MSI was caught using a underling company to scalp the 30 series cards. But the thing that people aren't realizing is they're definitely not the only company that's doing that, actually. If you go and do a little bit of research, you'll actually find out, and you got to think to yourself, well, how did some of these scalpers come in product the way that they did? Like, how is it that they have 100 of these cards, and they're selling them on eBay? Well, that's just it. Is it all of these companies, Newegg, Tiger Direct, Best Buy, etc., they only allow you to buy one card. So there's companies out there that use bots, definitely, that buy up all the stock that they possibly can using 300 different names. That's true. That is definitely part of it. The other part is the scalpers are getting supplied directly from the manufacturer. And you're probably thinking, well, there's no way that's possible. Well, it is possible. Let's say I'm a company and I'm sending out my cards to Best Buy, Newegg, for the normal price of whatever it is that I'm selling. And I know that these companies are going to tack on some profit to the MSRP, but how do I, as a manufacturer, do I make that kind of money back, right? Here's a good way to do it, is we go ahead and find a scalper, find a small company, find a small entity, supply them, and have them selling at twice the MSRP and kicking us a profit on what they sell. And it's actually happening a lot more than people think. So now that these companies are getting caught doing that, what they decided to do was be more blatant about it. So instead of hiding the fact that they're scalping, what they're doing now is they're raising the price of cards, every company, much higher than the MSRP, because they're blaming supply and demand, right? And they're saying that the companies that make the semiconductors are so bogged down with orders that they just can't keep up with them, and because of that, these companies are charging them more money for semiconductors and chips. Therefore, they have to charge more money for the video cards. It's a whole thing. But the problem with that is that I don't think that even half of that's true, right? Is these companies aren't going to just turn around and tell the video card manufacturers, hey, we're going to charge you a whole lot more per chip, when these companies are buying these chips at wholesale. Okay, so they're not going to raise the price of those, especially when you ordered 50 million chips. They're not just going to be like, all right, well, we made you 20 million. The other 30 million, we're going to have to tack on an extra percent. Company's not going to do that. So I don't think that the manufacturers are being charged more money for the chips. I really don't. They're seeing that people are willing, for whatever reason, to spend $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 on a video card. And they're seeing that these sellers, Newegg and Best Buy, have already tacked on that price. So why is it fair that they're making the money off of our cards, right? And that's how all of them are looking at this. So that's going to be a problem for everybody, because when the mining, the cryptocurrency, when that crashes, and it will eventually, and all of a sudden video cards aren't being bought up at that pace, and they're charging a ridiculous amount of money, this is when a third company like Intel, that's releasing video cards, even some rumor that Microsoft might get into at some point developing computer hardware. If a company like that kind of sneaks in at the back end of this, and they're saying, hey, we're going to make video cards and we're going to sell them at a cheaper price, they're going to gain the confidence of the consumers. And they're going to be like, hey, even though a 3090 is better than a Microsoft card, I'm still going to go buy it because it's cheaper. So that's going to force the card companies to lower their price. But the problem with that is that how, by the end of that happens, how us as consumers are going to look at that company. You know what I mean? Or how we're going to say, oh, well, Gigabit or MSI or whoever, you raped us on money for 3, 4, 5 years on video cards, and we're caught scalping and doing all these things, so I don't have any trust in you anymore. And now the new guy that came in and said, hey, we're going to do this at a reasonable price, we're going to give them a shot. We're going to give them a chance. So don't be surprised if that happens. I know that there's other companies that are out there looking at this saying, hey man, this is the time to get in and start making our own stuff. And it's going to happen eventually. So, kind of going over that, this is going to be a whole new series on my channel. So much to talk about, so many things that I don't think people are realizing. And we're going to kind of go over how to, if you need to buy a video card right now, how to do it at the cheapest price possible. How to do some due diligence, how to keep yourself safe from buying, a third-party card from like Wish.com that's actually not even what it says it is, things like that. And all of this stuff is going on. A lot of people getting ripped off right now for a lot of different reasons. So kind of stay tuned. If you're one of those people that got ripped off and you're confused how it happened, definitely subscribe or hit that notification button. Stay tuned for some more videos, because we're going to go over all of this and it's going to be a whole thing. So I want to say thank you for tuning in, watching me. You guys are the best, and we will catch you on the next video.